What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? World. Mm. If it ain't one thing, it's another. If it ain't one thing, it's another. You know it's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's another. Oh man, there's so much stuff. So much stuff. We not gonna leave nothing out today. Yeah. Yeah, we just shorten that up. But shalom, beloveds. We are live everywhere. We on Instagram. We on TikTok. We on Facebook Live. We on Twitch. We on Kick. We on Facebook. You name it, we there. We on X. We everywhere. Shout out to everybody, everywhere. We gonna get right to it. You know, like I said, this was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for thy neighbor. Would you be mine? Oh yeah, everything is fine. You have to say rest in peace to my computer. My computer died on me today, y'all. It died on me today. The moment that I finished up a video, as soon as I finished it up, literally at the same exact moment, it's all good. You know, all praises. You know, my filet mignon. Still going through the fast. I'm good and we live. I've been having some very beautiful, vivid dreams. So, yeah, keeping the party going with that. But we're going to jump right into this because we got some stuff that's going on all over the place. And I just figured I'd get this party started because I got so much stuff to do. And yeah, I'm going to be back all over the place again. You know, I'm ramping up, I'm packing up, and about to get back to traveling again. You know, I love to travel. So having boots on the ground, you got to have boots on the ground. So, but yeah, we're going to see what's going on in the world real quick. Let's see. Matter of fact, let me go back here. Yeah. Yeah, my computer just clonked out on me today. I was just like, what? Luckily, I didn't have anything of significance on there that would have me pull my hair out. But, you know, lo and behold, it was my Robin to my Batman. But good old Betsy got me through my days. You know, she traveled on the road with me. I was able to report and do everything I was able to do. So thank you, Bertha Bueller, man. Thank you for keeping me going and keeping the nation informed as we should, and keep on going. So here we go. Let's see what we got going on. Oh wow! Oh goody! Oh good. We got a lot of goodies. What is going on with all these goodies? So yeah, let's see. You got avalanches in Alaska. You got snow, and you got volcanoes popping off out there. You got storms all through Canada. Yeah, it's crazy. Got all this volcanic activity. Major earthquake right outside of the Korea, not Korea, but right in that cluster where that the linchpin is at. Why is it doing that? Let's go back over here. I don't even be touching that thing. It's so sensitive. Anyway, there's so much earthquake activity all around Asia. It is just, it's crazy. You got fire and snow still going on. Got a railway accident out there. Yeah, all that transportation is getting jacked up out there. I mean, obviously you had the earthquake, so like things are derailing or causing massive, amounts of destruction and stuff like that. A lot of the buildings are not stable as you would think they are. So yeah, you got North Korea still doing their thing. What is this question mark? 15 injured. Yeah, 15 injured after a fighter jet mistakenly drops a bomb outside of a training range. It actually injured some people. So yeah, that went down. I think I got video footage of it, but I think I just took that off. I did have it up there. Um, no, I did take it down just because I had so much to cover anyways. But man, lo and behold, it is earthquakes in Myanmar, Burma, Thailand, you name it. It is shaking, rocking, and rolling. Yeah, the Philippines is definitely, this thing is, I barely touch it, y'all. Anyways, let's go. You got uprising in a lot of these places. I mean, people are like really struggling in a lot of these places right now. Like it's really bad. The earthquakes are just damaging all of the infrastructure all everywhere. So um, all along the Ring of Fire, obviously, that's been speaking on a lot of what's to come. Breakdown energy supply, Australia, thousands in Perth home electricity after pole top fires. Yeah, a lot of the fire, the electricity poles have been catching fire. And so, yeah, that's been a thing as well. There's been a major Cyclone Alfred. I think I got news on that too. That just, man, and it's funny because I think uh, Ice Cube, rapper from America, for people that don't know, he's actually stuck out there in a hotel trying to get back. So, a lot of people go down to Australia to start their tours and stuff like that. But second case of Japanese encephalitis. Yeah, this is the this is the season of sickness right now. This is the season of sickness. So we got that going on right now. Let me make sure I bring this over. Um, Nepal is still splitting apart. Still got that going on. What's going on in Russia? What's that? Uh, Russia foils terror plots. Yeah. Still got a lot of uprising. People were mad angry, emotional. And it's funny because it's like all the catalysts that are bringing people's emotions out. You got like sports. Sports is definitely a catalyst for a lot of people's emotion, and then they invest in their money and gambling and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just that bad on that part. So um, it's a lot of activity in the Middle East. It's Ramadan going on right now. India, you got a collapsing of buildings. Like I said, a lot of these buildings and infrastructure are not sound. So they are uh, crumbling with people inside of them. There's been a lot of uh, boats and ships and cruise lines that are toppling over that have been definitely getting affected like that. You got two cyclones that I see so far that are going through it right now. Um, Africa definitely going through it. I think South Africa has two volcanoes that are active right now. That haven't they haven't been active since 2004. So that's starting to pop up right now. Um, Obviously, you got uproar everywhere because of you just have a lot of governments not taking care of their folks. So people getting really mad and pissed. So obviously that's happening right now too. You know, it's protests everywhere in all of these locations where the major disasters have happened, and the people are in uproar of why you know this is not why they haven't done anything to you know take care of these matters. You can't. This is a judgment. Like fire kills 6 monkeys at a zoo in Netherlands. So interesting. Uh, 70 firefighters called for huge middle of the night blaze. Like a lot of these fires are starting at night. You gotta understand this. When it get cold in Europe, it get cold. Remember that they busted that pipeline that was out there, so that's still affecting um, everything out there in those regions. Um, and the fact that the weather has been um, swinging in so many different extremes that it's causing the agriculture all around the world to be affected. So, you got France is flooded, Spain is flooded. Um, I haven't even gotten to all the places where they got flooded, but let's keep it going because we're gonna get to a lot of this. Chile and Argentina, they went through state of emergency, preferably Chile. Chile has just been getting so rocked hard. I don't know what's going. No, did he? Um, Breakdown of energy supplies. Argentina, massive blackout. Yeah, Argentina and uh, Chile have been going through massive amounts of blackouts. But there's just been that extreme kind of rainfall, So, um, like I said, and then you're seeing a lot of this earthquake activity all along Mexico, all along California, all the way up into Washington, close to the Mendocino Trench. You still got the toxic thing going on out in uh, Texas. Just so many measles out there going on right now. So, mysterious affliction causes causing endangered sawfish to spin and die resurfaces in Florida. Interesting. Huh. Uh, you got stills going on in uproar in Haiti. Um, you have still got the fires going on in North and South Carolina. And it's storming at the same time. So it's like it's getting burnt and then getting washed away, you know. So that's definitely there's been a lot of uproar at the airports, and that's holding a lot of the airlines responsible because they got pinned where they have to um, pay out people if their flights are longer or delayed or stuff like that. And that's springing up because they can't do anything about it. They can't do anything about the weather. You got pilots who are you know under the influence. They're drunk. They're high on fentanyl. You got planes damn near crashing at every airport. Uh, this is in Three Spirit Lake tribe members killed in North Dakota shooting. So you got a lot of Indians that are, trying to take each other out. Massive amount of cyber attacks, not just in America, but definitely over in the Asian countries and in Europe, throughout Europe right now. So Colorado weather, heavy snow. You got that heavy snow coming from the fall, from the rain that just happened in California. So you got the power outages. It was definitely like crazy weather that was, thundering and lightning out here. I was calm. I slept like a baby, but I woke up when the rain just started hitting. So, what is over here? What's this in Hawaii? So, proliferation of animal pests. First coconut rhinoceros beetles found outside. Yeah, and it's messing up every country's agriculture. Like the famine is really real right now in a lot of these places. So I just want to definitely bring that. Definitely wanted to bring that in there. So we got a shout out to everybody that is on all of the different platforms right now, showing love. We definitely bring in the news that is happening around the world right here, right then and there. So um, we gonna swing over and see what is going on with some of these earthquakes going on. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Now there, folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at on this fine Thursday, 8:34 a.m. California time here where I'm at. March 6, 2025 is the date. Latest activity shows a 6.3 earthquake, it looks like, down across the Chile area.
Yep.
That
I was
earthquake
talking
just
about it.
coming in. It is showing up on the seismograph stations there, so it's a legit earthquake. A little uncertain on the actual magnitude, though, because the EMSC are the folks reporting it, and USGS not so much. Let's double check that and see if they've included it yet. They have not. So a little behind here on the scheduling or on the reporting of earthquake activity. I'm sure they'll jump on that. But either way, that's a decent earthquake, if that is indeed a legit magnitude there for a 6.3 along the Peru-Chile Trench. We'll check back here in just a minute on that earthquake. Starting off here across the states, any more earthquakes happening up in Seattle? A couple smaller ones here outside the San Juan Islands area. This is a region that had some earthquake activity here within the last few days. About 51 earthquakes now in total tally. And some of these magnitudes, though, are awfully strange. Or 0, 0.1, 0.0. I mean, it's almost like a code, so to speak, of magnitude numbers. It just doesn't look legit, like those are actual magnitudes. There's some type of weird sequence of numbers in there. But 4.5 struck here just about 3 days ago near the Orcas Island, Washington region. Felt fairly broadly across the area. And then, of course, yesterday's event down there across Blinn, it looks like Blinn, Washington, outside of Seattle. 3.9 coming into that region there yesterday, which is southwest of the San Juan Islands area, where a number of earthquakes have been hitting. So just fairly active out here across Seattle recently. Well, the Puget Sound, I should say. Seattle fault system, a number of earthquakes as well on the west side and the east side of that very dangerous fault system that goes directly underneath Seattle. Northern California here, got one earthquake this morning, a 2.7. Now that's pretty shallow, 5.3 miles underneath that area. Nothing big happening across Northern California for now. The rest of California out here, well, the 2.5 model removes all the earthquakes, so all of these are microquakes out here across Southern California. Nothing big, no unusual swarming to note there across Southern California for now. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up, but as always, I do want to double check. By the way, this was a tremor from a couple days ago. Yesterday's tremor was not that big of a deal. Let's go look at the Yellowstone overview here real quick, see if there's anything happening at Yellowstone. And I don't see anything. It looks like maybe there was one earthquake here yesterday afternoon, but local time is up. This is matching the date. This is all current data. I don't see any unusual activity there across Yellowstone. There's the earthquake coming in there from the USGS now. A little bit of a downgrade from a 6.3 to a 6.1. Either way, that's still a decent earthquake into the Peru-Chile Trench. Historical data out here. Goodness, this is one of the most active areas on the planet for large earthquake activity and just earthquake activity in general.
Oh, wow.
Major subduction zone here starts from the northern area of South America all the way down south here to the Peru-Chile, or southern end of the Peru-Chile Trench right about here. So that's actually, I could say it's quite common to see a 6-pointer out here, but it's been a little while. Of course, further down south across the area of Chile, outside of Santiago, is where the world's biggest earthquake struck back in 1961. The 9.5, the Great Chilean Earthquake, that was a big one, and ultimately produced a tsunami as well. So just for now, a 6-pointer, 6.1, 58 miles deep here underneath this area. Looks like yesterday within the same region, a 4.2 struck a little bit deeper, so may want to keep an eye on that region for maybe possibly something larger. A 6.1 is at least a very minimal earthquake that it can produce there on that subduction zone. Here's the last 24 hours of all the magnitudes as well, and it does look like it's been centered around that center portion of the Peru-Chile Trench where the 6-pointer just struck, so keep an eye on it. May see some further large-scale activity happening there. The rest of the globe, or at least a flat-scale model Earth. New Zealand, some more earthquake activity happening out here. outside of Wellington, around the just outside the Cook Strait area. Now, this is just the latest in a series of earthquakes that have struck out here across the region. The majority of the quakes have been roughly around the tip of the South Island area up southward along the Alpine Fault there on the plate boundary. But that is more so than normal. So I'm going to run over and check out the GeoNet servers here real quick, see what they're reporting. 3 hours ago was at 4.5, 55 kilometers deep, 3.5 a little bit further south, 2.9 from yesterday. But there's a lot of 4s and even a couple of 5s out there yesterday along the South Island area in general. Just most of it there on the plate boundary, but that 5-pointer struck off of it and inland away from the plate boundary. So things are, quite strained out there across the New Zealand area. We'll check out the earthquake drums here real quick. And there's that most recent 4.5. There's some of yesterday's events there on the map. A couple of the newer events down south, or on a newer time frame down south here across South Island. So things are, that's quite active. It's unusual to see a large uptick like that with really no main quake. There hasn't been a like a 7 or 6 pointer that caused a bunch of these 4s and 5s. It's just a sequence of events. So that's odd, but it also could be telling us that things might be getting ready to see something bigger out here. So just keep an eye there across the area of New Zealand. It's a lot of activity. All right, back to the map here. Go over and check out the earthquake 3D globe, see if there's anything standing out. Some deeper activity once again across Japan. Well, I should say north of Japan here, across the Kuril-Kamchatka. 2 deep earthquakes here. One from yesterday, a 4.1, 323 miles deep here underneath the Sea of Osk area. More recent, 4.7, larger but shallower. So watch the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. It's a major subduction zone. You can see that trench zone out here. This thing can produce 9-pointers. The last 9-pointer was down here across Japan. That was back in 2011. And this area has potential to produce a megaquake. And I've been mentioning it here for probably the past year or so, thinking that things are going to pop out here pretty soon. But so far, it's been holding steady. But these deeper earthquakes are a good indicator here of the strain that's being built out here across the subduction zone of the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. So keep an eye on that, folks. That may very well be where we see our 8-pointer. Alaska, fairly quiet up there. A couple smaller microquakes across the area. Nothing big happening. Typical movement here across the Maluku Sea area, the Indonesia Islands region. Nothing on the Nankai Trough. Some of that activity from yesterday. Some 4.0 movement. So keep an eye on that. That's another area that's primed for some megaquake. Indian Ocean pretty active out here. See USGS reporting that one earthquake from yesterday, but there's been a number of earthquakes out there in that fracture boundary. Let's see, Santorini area of Greece, as far as volcano activity goes, doesn't look like there's a whole lot, but we'll double check, make sure. Santorini, Colombo, there's the current earthquake swarm. Got about 487 earthquakes in the region in the last week. The latest earthquake here, 9 minutes ago, these guys are reporting a 3.2 off the east coast there of North Island. Must be that newer quake there. And that's more than likely associated with the could be the Hikurangi subduction zone, southern end there. So just definitely that's quite active. All right, so 1.9 in this area, 2.1. I'm not seeing anything big in the last few hours. Couple 2s in there. Well, there was one 3.5 today. So we'll go double check the geophysics site here, see if we have the recorded view of that 3-pointer. There it is. 3-pointer obviously going to stand out much more prominent here on the seismograph map compared to these other 2-pointers and some of the 1-pointers out there. So still going. Still getting probably around 100 earthquakes, 80 to 100 earthquakes per day out here across the Santorini area. It has not lit up completely, so things are still active out there. Where it's leading to, who knows? Something we got to watch closely. All right, let's go check out space weather, see if anything's happening out here in the sun. Actually, pretty much flatlined out here, it looks like. If you look on the chart, we actually had a period of time where we were down into the B flare category. I call that the boring class because of the lack of flaring. Obviously, CM and X flare absent of recent flares. And I don't think we're going to see anything here in near term. I'm forecasting a 1% or less. These guys have a 10%. I know Kevin's taking a break from this page, so that may be a manual input that he's having to adjust here, but 10% is not likely at all out there on the sun. M flare, 45% chance. Let's go take a look here at the magnetogram image, see what we have for our possibilities of any flaring. Waiting for this one to load. It's been a little slow, but it loaded. There we have it. Whoop-de-doo. There's not a whole lot out here, folks. Some say that solar maximum has already peaked, that it peaked back in the end of 2024. Now, the official model here was that we're supposed to peak out in solar maximum around June of this year, which is in about 3 months. But I guess we'll have to see. And what I find odd is the majority of these sunspots out here throughout solar maximum over the last couple of years has been on the southern hemisphere of the sun, as far as the big ones go. Now, whether that's going to fill in up north or not in the near term, I don't know. It's something we'll have to watch. But there's not a whole lot. If you look at this, there's not a whole lot of complexity within this sunspot core. It is facing Earth. It's got a massive coverage area. But in close proximity, as far as these magnetic structures go, I don't see it. Might see a C flare or two popping off, maybe from this area down here. But aside from that, it looks pretty quiet out there on the sun. No major auroras in the forecast. The aurora oval forecast, they're pretty quiet. So we'll just take what the sun gives us here. And that's, right now, not a whole lot. As far as any close approach asteroids go, we'll give that a quick glance. And, man, that's a fairly big one. Fairly close as well in terms of a big one coming that close. It's still reasonably safe. 337,000 miles. By the way, the average distance here between the Earth and the Moon is about 239,000. So on average, that is outside of the Earth-Moon distance. Aside from that, millions of miles away for the rest of those pretty large asteroids, 100 foot or so. All right, Storm Prediction Center for severe weather. Got just some general thunderstorm activity out here across California and into the Four Corners. Really not expecting any major severe weather here in the coming, at least in the next couple days. Put that into motion here, and storm after storm will be hitting California with some pretty powerful systems out there as well. Look at those rainfall accumulation rates right over my house.
Just got a bunch right now.
So it's going to be a pretty wet one. Put that in motion here.
Texas.
Southern California going to get in on the action as well. As we head towards middle of March, a little interesting pattern here. Got some colder air dipping back down across the eastern portion of the country. And these have not been loaded up yet, so we'll have to check back a little bit later on the extended forecast as far as any major patterns go. But it does look like California is going to have a super wet March, and that is okay by me. I say bring it on. All right, let's see. Double check. 6.1, holding steady at that magnitude. 58 miles deep. Seismograph stations out there. Let's see here. Yeah, pretty quiet. That right here, that reading that you see on China Lake and Yellowstone at roughly the same time, is more than likely a signal from the 6.1 that struck here just a short time ago. 6.1 up here. You can barely see it. That's the ending of the large signature from the 6-pointer. But it happened a little bit back here. So sometimes those large earthquake 6-pointers will show up on some of these seismograph stations. It looks like it did as well across the Japan station. You might see some surface waves potentially. But for now, folks, we'll catch you guys out here a little bit.
Yeah, so it's fairly quiet on the solar aspect of activity right now, but it's definitely the calm before the storm. You know, it definitely is starting to showcase. March is definitely going to be full of a lot of beautiful surprises to many, and so yeah, you have a red moon popping up. I think I forgot to put that up there as well. That there's a I did forget that. Hold on, let me grab that. Supposed to be a blood moon. It's a couple videos that I forgot to grab. Hold on. Yeah, that was it right there. There was another one. I had a lot of stupid videos that always pop up on my channel. Obviously, you got the American crime. We ain't even got to that. You know, there's so much American crime. Yeah, that's definitely starting to pop up a lot more. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that one right there. We'll come back to it. But so let me at least bring this one up.
Another blood red moon is on the horizon, this time in North America. Could this be an omen of things to come? On March 13th through the 14th, stargazers will witness a spectacular lunar eclipse event with the moon displaying deep red hues.
So the blood moon will be on between the 13th and the 14th. I don't know exactly the exact. Let me find out. So let me make sure so I don't lay nobody off. So in 6 days, we'll have a full moon, which is on the 12th to the 13th. So right after that, you should be able to see at its height, its peak on the 12th and the 13th, that particular blood moon. And then obviously you still got Ramadan going on right now. Many different things, but it's a blood moon, red moon. This is the worm moon. So this is pretty much the new year for the beloved, all the chosen of the nation. So happy New Year's to everyone. This is I believe there is 2 eclipses that will be partaking. I believe one inside of March, and then again is like I think like the 2 week right after that, a week or two, it'll be popping up again as another one. And I believe there's 2 more towards the end of the year. I believe like September and October. So
North and South America will be treated to the dramatic sight of the first total lunar eclipse known as the
First
blood moon since November
lunar
2022.
eclipse.
The celestial event promises to be spectacular as the moon will take on a rusty red hue when it passes through the Earth's shadows. Observers can witness this natural phenomenon without any special eye protection, unlike solar eclipses, which require such precautions. For enthusiasts across North America, this upcoming total lunar eclipse is not just another astronomical event. It is a chance to connect with the cosmos, marveling at the beauty and wonder of our universe. So mark your calendars for the night of March 13th through the 14th and prepare what promises to be an unforgettable visual experience. So what does this mean in Bible prophecy? Could this upcoming blood moon at Purim signal another significant event on God's prophetic calendar?
Yep.
Typically, the blood red moon has been an omen for the Gentile nations that can see.
So it's an omen for the Gentile nation. This is biblical. This is prophetic. It is not going to be a good thing for many of the Gentiles that are out here. 83 has no idea, have no clue what is about to come their way. So it is what it is. You got people who are praying and fasting right now. They're trying to keep up and do the things that we have been doing for centuries. A lot of just the fake okey doke popping up now. This is the year of the Jubilee for many Catholics. As you can see, the Pope is not doing too good right now, and I'm gonna bring that news as well. I got so much. You have Ramadan going on right now. You have the Chinese New Year that just passed, which was the year of the snake. And so many have been getting bit by the snake charmers right now, selling that fake snake oil.
See the lunar eclipse and watch the moon turn blood red. Could it be a coming judgment? Very possible.
Very much
What does
so.
the Bible say? In the books of Joel and Acts, we're told
In the books of Joel and Acts, this Acts 2 and 20, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and noble day of the Lord come. Ooh, they are not really ready. And then Joel 2 and 31, the sun will be turned into darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. Whew, great glory. And then Luke 21:25, uh, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth distress of the nations, which with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So it is bad. Ugh. This is gonna be bad, y'all, for them. It's a blessing. I feel so good. I'm at peace. My sleep, I be sleeping for like over 8 to 12 hours now. That's where my sleep is at now. And then I wake up, and it's interesting because I had this dream about that. I asked my aunt today, like, did you have a brother? Because there's somebody that popped up in my dream last night that was, anyways. But I went ahead and, every time I have a dream, it becomes so. So with that happening, with the sea and the waves roaring, there was three humongous glaciers that cracked and broke off, and they fell into the ocean, and they've been just drifting over almost into well, they almost I think, but I believe one hit an island. I'm not for sure because I've been away for a minute, y'all. I have to get myself together. I have to protect my soul because I'm about to go back out here in the trenches. That's where we're supposed to be out here. We're supposed to be out here in the trenches. We warriors. We can't forget that. Um, but from those particular glaciers as well, those are melting at an astronomical rate. Then you have the volcanic activity happening all around the whole world right now. And I believe that, well, I know for sure that that activity is coming from the planetary alignment with all of the families being looking at us right now. Every planet has been looking at everybody, taking note of everything that we've been doing. So if you ain't been repenting and praying and fasting and doing everything that you can to show thyself approved, you are going to find out sooner or later. It may not be sooner. You may be able to enjoy your football games and all of the things, enjoy your little house and stuff like that. But lo and behold, later, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get these cold potatoes. We're all in the same cafeteria lunch line of judgment. And if you haven't gone through yours, and if you haven't accepted, who you was and what you are now and what you will become, then you're going to have a problem with these things. So you have many people who are still operating blasphemous, speaking very ill and profane with a very ill, unrighteous tongue about the things that are going on, still in disbelief, still delusional, still having selective outrage about things, just choosing to ignore and actually rant about the truth, you're being ignorant. That's when you put the two words together. You're being ignorant. There's a difference. It's not even a difference. It's honesty. It's and or versus. It's honesty and the truth, honesty or the truth, honesty versus the truth. And that's what we've been competing and combative with for such a long time, where we've been screaming at the top of our lungs and people ain't been wanting to listen and hear us out and stuff like that. We just shut up. We just let that go. We let y'all do what y'all do. And that's what's happening right now, is that we ain't got no more prayers for nobody else. We ain't got no more hugs and things like that for people that continue to be blasphemous towards the Most High right now. This has been the last 5 years. If you have not seen the evidence, you're being shown the evidence now to be able to showcase to you so you can see for yourself that this is not being made up. This is all biblical. This is all prophetic. This is divine providence right now, to see the celestial body being able to tell us and show us within the divine stars, if you're not walking right, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. So it's just all praise to the Most High that these things that the word is showing, so that, what is written is coming to pass. They'd be like, oh, once in a blue moon. There was a blue moon last year, August, I believe. I believe it was August. So you got a blue moon, you got a red moon, you getting the whole Crayola crayon box of moons. And this is the worm moon. This is the moon that I was conceived in. And that's a very important thing that people must remember. What moon were you conceived in? Under what moon did your mama and daddy have sex? Because that is a lot of it. That I've gone through investigation about any and every single aspect in my life, to where I'm so secure and so confident and reassured about who I am, where I come from, who I was in my past life, who I've become in my current present life, and who I am working so hard to become, because we were sent back through that portal, through our mother, to be able to respawn here. The Most High gave us another chance. Gave us this. We ain't got no more safety nets. You ain't no takebacks. Ain't no more thinking that you can just get away with what you was doing before. No, this is the time to wake up and smell the coffee, smell the roses, and smell your own fucking bullshit. And being able to, hey, my bullshit stinks. Let me go ahead and change this manure out. Because at the end of the day, that dirt don't hurt. And that dirt is what's making you grow into the beautiful rose that you are. So don't deny. The universe is not denying anything. The universe is believable and accepting of everything, because it is so. It is here. So to see that everybody's adding extra confusion and perplexities to everything that is written, when people are, I just read that in the Bible today. I promise you, I just did that in my Bible readings. For many that don't read the Bible, you can go to my YouTube channel in the mornings at 8, between 8 and 8. Either I'm at 8 o'clock or 8:30. I do the Bible readings too, because I'm literally going back and investigating everything. So as I'm reading it, it's becoming revelation as I wake up in the morning, that what was I dreaming? And then so it comes to be, whatever I dream about is literally in that book. So if I'm going through something and I open up my book, that book gives me peace. And that was something that I'm so grateful to Sister Ola May, who passed away, holding her Bible. That lady was 90 something years old. And that lady literally gave me that gem before she passed. She was like, do not let go of your Bible. Do not let go of the word. The word is going to be the one thing that's going to get you through. This lady lost her memory, everything, but she knew exactly what to say at the right time to say it. And I am just so grateful for the moments that I've had with many of my OGs. I'm an old soul. I've been around a lot of elder people. I watched a lot of elders pass away in front of me. I watched a lot of death since I was a kid. And so I'm a lot more, much more of a professor, a high priest in that capacity, for people to help deal with their grieving, to help deal with their losses, their substance abuse, their childhood trauma abuses. I'm one of them guys that really have been helping a lot of people out. I've met over 1 million people, y'all. I've met thousands of people. And so people walked up to me, be like, quick, can I have 5 minutes of your time? Can you help me out with my life? And lo and behold, so we all have our gifts and our specialties that we need to tap into and not take for granted. This is not the time to be taken for granted what you have. What you have is a beautiful gift that ain't nobody else got. Be happy with what you got. If you look the way you look, if you're short, you're short. You tall, you tall. You black, you black. You ugly, you ugly. Biggie Smalls was ugly, but he still made it work. He was rich. You can't be broke and ugly at the same time. You need to pick a struggle. I remember somebody told me that. It was hilarious. But yeah,
That the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Lord comes. We're also told in the book of Luke that we will see signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Speaking of signs in the sky, on February 28th of 2025, all 7 planets of our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, were aligned in a rare planetary parade. Back in April the 22nd at sundown, there was a similar alignment of these planets in 2024.
that was the day that I did my ritual. I did my succubus prayer. I did my ancestor money. As you can see behind me, that's my ancestor altar. So on here, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make an altar video where it's an altar prayer where you can say that prayer, and that prayer will be where you burn your ancestor money. You burn your ancestor money. This is what's going to help you. That has helped me. This is something that this didn't get taught in the churches. This didn't get taught at the dinner tables with my families. This didn't get taught in schools. This didn't get talked about amongst me and the homies. Homies always want to play video games, go out, play basketball, go get some girls, whatever like that. It's just, we gotta change and we gotta reprogram ourselves about what type of information that we're sitting down and digesting, what is fruitful to us now. So even for me, like, I just don't go on a rampage just talking about all of the most nonsense of things. What I'm talking about is the things that are affecting your mind, body, and spirit. This is the time where you need to be able to take much more in consideration of protecting your soul right now. Because if you step outside your door, your home is supposed to be your place of peace, and there's over 300 million people. There's 300 million houses, or whatever, how many houses, but let's just say 300 million houses in America. Can you imagine how much stuff is going on in these houses all around the country? We're not even talking about the world. That's 8 billion. But just 300 million people got, cult that ain't even got no altar. They worship. And I just got finished talking about that in the Bible and reading it in the Bible right now. We're worshiping false idols and putting up these altars to put on a pedestal. Like we're worshiping, we're worshiping the Trumps of the world. We're worshiping the Hall of Famers of the world, the musicians of the world, and stuff like that. God is a jealous God. He don't like none of that. So y'all better stop. Y'all better quit with the oopsies. The oopsies, y'all need to stop with the oopsies.
This happened over in Israel, and the planets were in a similar position as they were.
So what I said with that was that what I did is I burnt I did a ritual bath for the succubus. So for many men and women out there, so many that don't understand what an incubus and a succubus is. So an incubus and a succubus is spiritual husbands and wives. The incubus is a spiritual husband. That succubus is a spiritual wife. That most people, that gets passed down from generation to generation, and it got passed down through slavery and many other forms throughout history. But if we tie it back and we just keep it at the example of slavery, we have to think about many of the slave masters that have raped, that have molested and planted evil seeds, completely defiling and disrespecting and desecrating, trying to destroy that shining, that connection, that spiritual gift that we are all blessed with. And that got passed down from generation to generation, and it was compound interest into the time now where we got to the precipice, the crux, the climax of the 400 years of slavery, which is Jacob's trouble, to where it amplified so much to where, look at the world, look at the nation. We've legalized every single sin, all 7 deadly sins: pride, wrath, envy, gluttony, greed, lust. Which one am I missing right now? Slothfulness. All of those 7 sins have been legalized. They've been commercialized, advertised. They've been made to be sexy, and we have accepted that. We got to understand that through slavery, that people were made to eat the remnants of pigs. You gotta love these chitlins. That's an abomination. We're not supposed to be eating pig. We're not supposed to be eating catfish, shrimp, lobster, squid, octopus, animals with 4 legs that have paws. These are abominations. We're not supposed to eat the vultures and the owls and the crows, and we're not supposed to eat other insects. The only insects I believe we can eat are locusts, crickets, and grasshoppers. Then again, that has to be a far cry from that'll be the last thing I'm gonna put in my mouth. But the fact that we've been eating so unrighteously, these things are partaken. We're starting to see what we have been doing is starting to come into fruition now. And so the planetary alignment is taking heed to and taking duly noting all of our transgressions right now. So it's time. You can do it. Anybody that's out there that is struggling with any of these things, whether it's incubus, succubus, I know I just ran off on that, but if you're dealing with any of these things, dealing with obesity, fast, you'll be surprised how much of the toxins that are the parasites that are just sitting gluttonously inside of your fat cells. Look at an elephant. Look at a gorilla, a rhinoceros. They're herbivores, and they're some of the biggest animals. So I want us to take in consideration these things about what we're eating. They sprinkle pig remnants on all of the food, from the chicken nuggets to the Pop Pocket, all of this stuff. We have to be understanding of what we are doing to ourselves, what we are feeding our children. I started having a more raw-based, plant-based diet. This is all raw fruit. I ain't drinking it right now, but yeah, obviously you can see that. Um, but literally, that's what we're getting. We have to get ourselves away from this type of food that we have traditionalized as soul food. This soul food is really damaging to an extent if you don't know how to distinguish and discern between the type of foods that we are supposed to eat in comparison to the foods that we are supposed to intake. And you're seeing many of the agriculture around the whole world is being affected by that now. So we are partaking into practices that were never ours in the first place. Whether it's the marital process, the nuptials, the way we carry ourselves. Do you love thy neighbor when the devil's next door? So we have to take a lot of this stuff in consideration of what we have been doing. But I bring in the incubus and succubus as well, because that prayer that I put up that most may not have gotten a chance to listen to, that helped me. Those seeds got passed down through generation to generation, and those are things that we didn't take care of and deal with. Most of the time, people will be like, "Oh, you're going through you need to go through an exorcism, or you need these pills," not knowing why this kid is sad or angry, anything like that. And you're thinking that he's just a special kid, that he got ADHD or ADD. No, do you really understand what that child is really going through? Maybe that child is really coming into their introspection of who they may have been in their prior life. That's what people are waking up to. That's what a lot of the kids are waking up to. And they're like, man, my parents are not really uh, my parents are not really setting them off on a path of success. And that path of success is not going to college and getting an education. Yes, that is very important. That's a part of the tools. It's a tool, just like a butter knife. It can cut a tomato or it can kill you. Just like money, it's a tool. You can either help people or you could be a stingy Scrooge McDuck.
On February 28th. The significance of this alignment is not so much of the past, but the near future, because it won't happen again until 2040. Some people believe that to see a blood red moon is a good omen. Some,
Yeah.
not so much. And we know what the Bible says. In fact, I have an article on my website posted by Michael Parker at www.cww7news.com, and it goes into a little bit more detail about these blood moons. So go on over there, check it out, come back here, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment anyways. Tell me what you think of the videos today, and tell me how you're doing. I missed you guys. I really have missed you guys so much and doing this work. So with that said, come on over to our social media pages.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and allow her to just sit here and promote all of her stuff. No, we're going ahead and move on.
Stefan Burns here with a comprehensive energy update for you today, February 27th, because there is a lot happening energetically right now across a variety of domains, and they're all kind of combining together into a very unique, powerful energy signal. First and foremost, we have a new moon today, so happy new moon. This means that the moon and the sun are conjunct. So if it's daytime, you look up at the sun, you're effectively looking at the moon. And then tomorrow, we have a great planetary alignment with all 7 main planets in the sky after the sun sets, and the moon will actually move into that alignment as well tomorrow, nestling in between Saturn and Mercury. And then in the days ahead, it'll move through the rest of that planetary alignment. So 2 big astronomical energy signatures active at this moment in time. And we just had a G1 geomagnetic storm about 12 hours ago. That was on top of already some unsettled active geomagnetic conditions, which we are still in at this moment in time. So we'll look at the solar wind so we can better understand why we had this G1 geomagnetic storm. Looking here at our sun, we see these coronal holes here on the Earth facing side of the sun. They're now in that geoeffective position. So those high-speed streams should be sweeping by us at any moment in time. And this is going to probably add on top of the geomagnetic activity that we have happening right now already. So it looks like this is going to continue out for some time. I'm not sure if this will get to G1 storm levels, but that is a potential. And I would also like to acknowledge how I was wrong. I made a mistake in yesterday's video, and so I would like to talk about what that mistake was, and this will help us to better understand our near-Earth environment and space weather forecasting tool. So let's get right into it. Let's start right off the bat with probably the most unusual thing, and that is the fact that we have some very bizarre Schumann resonances data being provided to us.
So he's talking about the Schumann resonance now. So like I said, when the fact that we have had the planets in alignment, these resonances, these vibrations that they are sending out are literally playing like my keyboard. And so for me, the fact that I'm still fasting, I'm in prayer, I'm in repentance, I'm in everything. I could sit here in silence and I will get the most beautiful downloads. They used to call it what, titness, where you get the ringing in your ear. That's not a bad thing for you, beloved brothers and sisters. That is a very good thing. You need to pay attention. You need to stop what you're doing. Stop what the hell you're doing and listen. Focus in. That is a dog whistle. That is an alert. That is something that is telling you, hey, look here, see this, hear this, pay attention. You may not get it right then and there because you may be a white belt. You may be a black belt, and it may come to you like that. But don't set it to the side as if it is nothing. Don't put any messages that come to you to the side as if they're nothing. Whether it's the 111s, the 222s, the 333s, the 444s, the 555s, the 666, the 777s, the 888s, the 999s, the 1010s, the 144, the 1212, the 1111s. any of these number sequences. I am a mathematician. I've always loved math. So for me, I've always been investigative about anything that has been in with any of the hurts. And then I make music. So I love music. That's been my therapy. That was the one thing that saved me. And I'm so thankful to the Most High to be able to have allowed me to have made so much music. And I still got so much that I haven't even put out. But that is the ringing in my ears that's telling me that it is not over. Do not give up. Do not quit on me. You need to have that faith of a mustard seed. Keep paying attention. I'm going to show you, my beloved brother and sister. You are a chosen child of the Most High. But in order to receive, you need to be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing in order for him to receive you. You have to. You have to get away from them people. Them motherfuckers is not your friends, man. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. These 83s, these Gentiles, they would take you down. I just got finished reading about who was that? David, who made wives with nations that the Most High said were not supposed to be made wives, and we don't listen. That's our problem right now, is that we don't listen. We're so hard-headed, we're so stubborn, peer pressure. People tell us what to do. We're so conditioned and re-engineered. This is the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. We have to reprogram ourselves. We have to hit the reset button about everything we thought we knew. We have to scrap it. Once 2020 hit, I knew something was different. I knew something was different, and I followed it, and it was like, you know what? I need to do everything I can to protect my soul. And I went on an apology tour. I went on a apology tour, not only to myself because of the hurt and damage I was doing to myself, but even to the people that I was around me. And so this is the time of great humility to be able to break us back into that. To break us back into that. So the ones that are on like TikTok and Instagram, you may not be able to hear or see what I'm showcasing, but I'm relaying it back to you about what's partaking right now. But let me go ahead and keep on going because it's a longer video.
Out of Tomsk, Russia by the Space Observing System. Here we see the normal background vertical electric field going from 0 to 40 hertz. We see our Schumann resonances there. These horizontal lines of higher power, amplitude, strength, intensity, right? These are the normal background electromagnetic standing waves produced by lightning strikes and other atmospheric processes, and they're naturally resonant with the Earth, so they
So he's talking about the Schumann resonance increasing the amount of thunder and lightning storms, which I have been hearing. What was it? Just a couple days ago. I woke up from a dream. I promise you, that's why I know that I got special powers, because I had just woke up from a dream that was just about the fires over in North and South Carolina. And the dream that I had, I think I put it on one of the videos, that there was this beautiful black angelic being that looked like a beta fish, almost like Goku and Vegeta floating in the air, and it was just destroying everything. They could not stop it, and they were trying to find me to stop me in order to stop that. And so it was almost like man's best friend. And then I had another dream where I walked out of the ocean. It wasn't Santa Monica, it wasn't Venice. I want to say Dockwaller Beach, but it really wasn't Dockwaller, because the beach that's closest to that area is Venice and Santa Monica. But I was walking out of the water. I wasn't wet. I walked on the water, and I walked on the ground, and I ended up in North Hollywood. And I was walking on each one of the stars, and it was just, and I wasn't like, I was like boom, 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 but it was like a boom, 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 boom with my steps. But I was cracking each one of the stars. And lo and behold, when I woke up, it was an earthquake that happened. So anyways, I'm just going to keep on going. But the amount of lightning strikes that are happening everywhere has amplified from these planetary alignments right now.
propagate out and resonate across time. But then we see, starting right here at about midnight UTC +7 time, local time for Tomsk, Russia, all of a sudden this dramatic shift in the spectrogram, the amplitudes go up, and the frequency pattern totally changed.
Yep.
So we're not seeing this in other stations. If we look at the data out of Hungary, we're not seeing this from the Hungarian Research Network. If you look at the data out of Italy, we're not seeing this from VLF.
So from the 25th and the 26th of February, and it was like the moment the 27th to 28th hit, boom, it was just like this kicking some brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. Like it literally was just blasting. And so from that day, oh, it's interesting because the amount of people that I see that are sick, especially the people that are like morbidly obese and people that are not taking care of themselves right now, eating just horrible right now. It is happening, y'all. It is happening to where that's what's affecting people. These
If you look at the data for the United Kingdom, we're not seeing it out of Eskdale-Mere. So this is only showing up in Tomsk, Russia. And I wanted to give you the specific frequency values for what we're seeing with this shift here. Wow. So these are the same data set. I just put in the specific frequency Y scale right there. So you can see that a little bit easier. And the normal Schumann resonances are 7.8 hertz for mode 1, 14 hertz for mode 2, 20 hertz for mode 3, 25 to 26 hertz for mode 4. Then we have 33 hertz for mode 5, 39 hertz for mode 6, and then it goes 45 hertz and beyond. And each higher mode progressively is decreasing in power. Now what we see here is we have 3.7 hertz. This is for this line right there. Then we have 7 hertz, we have 9.7 hertz, 12.8, 15.7. This is 22.1, and then 28, 31, 34.6, and 38.4 for these less defined bands right there. So this is the specific frequency breakdown for this very unusual pattern that is now showing up in the data out of Tomsk, Russia.
So wow, this is amazing information, y'all. 3.7 hertz, 7 hertz, 9.7 hertz, 12.8 hertz, 15.7 hertz, 22.1 hertz, 28 hertz, 31 hertz, 34.6 hertz, 38.4 hertz. That is the sounds of the planets.
And it looks likely that this is some sort of technical glitch because again, we're not seeing this sort of change in the background vertical electric field or the magnetic field out of any of the other public data feeds for the Schumann resonances and more. And we've seen these sort of technical glitches out of Tomsk, Russia, but it is this sort of phenomena that brings a lot of people together because so many people look at this data that all of a sudden when there's a dramatic shift like this, it gets a lot of people's attention. So there's some other forces kind of at work there, you could say. But that is what's happening right now out of Tomsk, Russia. I'll be keeping a close eye on this and I'll bring you any new developments as they occur. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that as it happens. And while a lot of people have been focusing on the Schumann resonances data, we've been having increasing geomagnetic volatility in the background. This has started to ramp up and we even hit a G1 storm level for 3 hours just not that long ago. And so we see that very clearly here with our HB60 index. This is a 1 hour measure of geomagnetic activity across the planet. And we see that we started to move up into these higher HB60 indices going above 3 and then going above 4. And then even here a 1 hour measure of 6. So if we go down to our KP index, we see that it was a 5.667, nearly a G2 storm for 3 hours. But this is in that G1 to G2 range right there. You can call that a G2 minus storm or a G1 plus storm. But in general, you can see that we've been having increasing geomagnetic activity over about the past, past 18 hours. So less than a day now, but that looks likely to continue due to the high-speed streams that will be sweeping by the Earth soon because of those very large coronal holes that are now in that geo-affected position. And we also have some solar wind characteristics that make it more likely for this to continue. So let's give that a look. And here we have our real-time solar wind data as observed at the L1 Lagrange point, 1% of the distance towards the sun. And so we can see what's been happening with the solar wind. We can look at our interplanetary magnetic field. We can look at the plasma density of the solar wind, the velocity, the temperature. We also have our KP index down here, a 3 hour measure of geomagnetic volatility. There is that value of 5.667. That G1 storm looks like we just had a G0 plus. That's a 4.667 right there. So again, we are still in this period of heightened activity. We'll notice our interplanetary magnetic field has a value of about 12 for the total field strength. So that's a little bit more than double average, which is 5 nanotesla. You'll notice that the red line is the southward component. This is positive value of 6. Typically you need that to be negative to have any sort of geomagnetic activity or a geomagnetic storm. We did have a little bit of that here where the southward component went negative. For example, 13 and negative 10. You notice that that lines up with this KP index. This will come in about 1 hour before the KP index measures, because this is being observed, again, 1% of the distance towards the sun. So this gives us about a 1 hour heads up, though it depends on the velocity, which you see here is quite high, 600 kilometers per second. And the density is also high too, about 20 ions per cubic centimeter. So those are the main conditions that are causing this heightened geomagnetic activity, even though this interplanetary magnetic field doesn't have the best characteristics necessarily for triggering a geomagnetic storm. We have high velocity, high plasma density, and we are having some small periods where that southward component flips negative, allowing for this injection of plasma into Earth's magnetic field. And remember, it's the electric currents of the ionosphere that primarily cause the biggest magnetic field swings.
And it's interesting with all of this geomagnetic storm, because there are Elon Musk Starlinks falling back to Earth right now because of this. It's literally like a holy EMP knocking them out. You have so many satellites that have been falling out of the sky right now. It's interesting times that we're living in. The amount, the thickness of them, the potency, the vibratory velocity of them is just it's shooting through the measurements,
which are then measured at the surface, which registers as that geomagnetic storm. So while there are changing magnetic field dynamics occurring, for example, at the magnetopause, out about 10 Earth radii, sometimes a little closer, it's really how are there new electric currents being generated in the ionosphere? How does that alter our magnetic field locally at the surface? We can better understand that by looking at our IMF clock angle. Now, I've shown this graphic before and discussed how the electric potential of the ionosphere changes based on the magnetic field vector directions of the solar wind, but I think it's good to refresh everyone on this because this is a very important component as to understanding how a solar storm or, for example, a high-speed stream can influence Earth's geomagnetic volatility and how that actually affects the magnetic field strength that we're observing at the surface with ground-based magnetometers, which is how we create that KP index or that HB index. So here we see what's called the IMF angle, and we're looking at the Z component, the Z component, and also the Y component. The X component is the one that's going towards the sun. So we're looking at these different angles here. And we notice that if we have a total solar wind magnetic field strength that's greater than 7.25 nanotesla, wow, and we have the clock angle to the positive Z but negative Y, this direction, that we don't develop much of this ionospheric potential. We see that there is a positive and then also negative zone. Wow. So here's our legend, kilovolts, right? And so this is the cross cap potential. Across the cap, the polar cap zone, that's the potential. As we move down this clock angle, you'll notice that these cross cap potentials increase. The electric potentials are getting stronger, both the negative potential and the positive potential in the ionosphere in those polar regions, North Pole, South Pole. And you'll notice that when the Z component is sharply negative and Y is basically neutral, that's when we get the strongest cross cap potential and therefore the strongest geomagnetic storms. But you also have these other zones here, and you also still get some pretty strong storms if you have Z be 0 but Y is positive, which is kind of where we are right now. So this is important to look at. You can look at the actual IMF clock angle to better understand how the solar wind is going to interact with the Earth and therefore geomagnetic activity. Before we look at that, I'll give you the web link in the video description. Just want to show you that the cross cap potential here in the IMF angle have been also connected to, for example, changes a little bit closer to home. So temperature, specific humidity, and zonal wind velocity show a clear correspondence with enhanced geomagnetic activity during geostorms, and significant variations in cloud cover, temperature, and specific humidity can occur within 2 days after periods where BZ goes below zero into that negative zone where you have that increased geomagnetic volatility. And it's intensification of the polar cap potential difference that plays an important role in the coupling between the solar wind and the atmosphere via the global electric circuit. So we can have changes in the solar wind due to solar activity that then influences the ionosphere, which then actually goes down and changes some of our atmospheric parameters and therefore our weather.
Wow.
And here we have a webpage provided by the Australian Space Weather Forecasting Center. And this is a great webpage to bookmark if you are someone that likes to track space weather, and especially if you use this for any sort of aurora chasing or things of that nature. So we see our solar wind clock angle, the same clock angle as on that other graphic, positive BZ there, negative BZ. We see this bracketed zone around negative BZ. That's in general the area of greatest geomagnetic volatility potential. So if you have this clock hand, which is shown there in green, if that enters into that zone, then you're more likely to have enhanced geomagnetic volatility because, again, that BZ component is going to be negative. And if that clock hand is bigger in this graphic, that means that it is a stronger vector for the solar wind. And therefore, you're going to have an even greater chance of there being enhanced geomagnetic volatility or a strong geomagnetic storm. Now, if we go down, we have a 24-hour plot of this. This is going back in time, and then we have this going all the way towards the recent present moment right here. So we notice that there was quite a bit of volatility across this plot over the past 24 hours, but this is a much better plot of the solar wind clock angle than the one provided by NOAA. We'll look at that in just a second because it clearly outlines 180 degrees and puts that smack dab in the center, and then even shows you with these red lines that preferential box around it. And they check in also where we had those conditions get hit. And so this is right around about 10 a.m. UTC right there. If we go down, we see that that also lines up with this increased clock hand length, so greater nanotesla strength. And if we go to our KP index back on the NOAA page, we'll see that we had that most recent value around the same time. So this clicked in right here. Check it out. This clicked in right here at about 8:45, 9, 10, all through that zone. So that is corresponding to that clock angle. This is shown on the NOAA page with this phi angle here, but it's honestly set up really poorly because they don't have 180 degrees right in the center, which is the most important angle to show. And so we see that we have a lot of values here near 180, but these colored boxes there really don't mean much, honestly. It's the 180 degree angle that's the most important. And so this webpage provided by the Space Weather Forecasting Center is really great for looking at this. We can see all those times that it was hit. Again, we just had that new value of 4.67 get clicked in for the KP index. And we had this clock angle also kind of jump up to that value just recently here over the past 3 hours. So make sure you check out this webpage. This is linked in the video description. And this also kind of goes to show you how the conditions of the ionosphere affect whether we have geomagnetic volatility, because again, it's those electric currents in the ionosphere which generate their own magnetic fields, which either add to or subtract from Earth's overall magnetic field generated within the core. And so when you have a stronger ionosphere, or it's going through greater fluctuations across time, like what happens during the equinox periods, then you have stronger geomagnetic potential conditions. And that's what happens also with the Russell-McFerrin effect. So we have equinox coming up in March, and then again, of course, we have equinox in September. But as we get closer to equinox, we're going to have the ionosphere going through more and more volatility overall because of how Earth is orbiting around the sun and its tilt angle is changing relative to that. And so more and more parts of the ionosphere are either entering into greater light or entering into greater darkness, because this is the time of greatest light transition on the planet. And that is where I made my mistake. Let's talk more about that. In my video yesterday, I described a mysterious object that passed in front of the GOES satellites, causing them to have a drop in their data. And I thought this was the moon. And this kind of makes sense because right now we have a new moon. It's close to eclipse season. So during the new moon, it is along that ecliptic plane. And so it could take these satellites and occlude the sun temporarily from view and cause this reduction in X-ray flux. But I was mistaken. I was wrong. In fact, it is the Earth itself which is causing this. And this is because of equinox season, not because of the eclipse. And so shout out to the one person who commented the right answer. And once they commented, it clicked for me. And then I just made sure that they were correct. And now I'm providing you this update. But this is important because we're going to keep seeing these data dropouts all the way until April, because we're already seeing them now late February, and equinox is going to be March 21st. So the reason why is because of how the geostationary satellites, these GOES satellites, equinox is going to be March 21st. So the reason why is because of how the geostationary satellites, these GOES satellites, are positioned around the Earth and how Earth is moving through space relative to the sun. Now quickly, before we get to our orbital visualization so we can better see this, and I bring out the globe and kind of play with this a little bit for you, we are going to look at this X-ray flux because we are going to continue to see these data dropouts in the weeks ahead because of what I'm about to describe. So here we see that GOES 16 drops out right around 5 a.m. Universal Time. This is the red line. And then also we see the other shortwave component there drop out. And then GOES 18 drops out. And this is the orange line and its shortwave component there. This is GOES West. This is GOES East. And so you'll notice the time, 5 a.m. Universal Time, right around then. Well, Eastern Standard Time is 5 hours behind Universal Time. And so this is right around midnight for the East Coast. And for the West Coast, it's 8 hours behind Universal Time. This is right around midnight for the West Coast. These satellites are not exactly perfectly aligned with like the exact center of Eastern Standard Time or the exact center of Pacific Standard Time, but they're pretty close to it because they cover those regions. And so we see here the Western GOES satellite, GOES 18, we see this one dropping out right at midnight, and we see GOES 16 for the eastern part of the United States dropping out right at local midnight. And that gives you a clue as to what is happening with these geostationary satellites as they orbit with the Earth and as that orbits around the sun. Here we have our visualization for the geostationary orbits for the GOES satellites. We have GOES West, this is GOES 16. Then we have GOES East, this is GOES 18. And so we see how they are locked and fixed on one position over the Earth, and they move with the Earth. So as they are orbiting around the Earth is also rotating, and they are tidally locked to it. Very similar to the moon, basically. And so here's the dynamic at play and why we see these data dropouts. And if you watch the actual different angstrom views of the sun as provided by the GOES satellites, why you see this object pass in front of it very quickly.
GOES.
Here we have
Satellites.
our Earth.
Follow the Earth.
And let's say that you are the sun, okay? So this is our Earth-Sun line like this. During solstice, the Earth is either tilted like this or like that towards the sun or towards you.
Yeah, basically.
During equinox, it's tilted like this. It's
Wow.
The tilt angle is like this because initially you are here, but as the Earth is orbiting around, it's now having a different angle of its tilt relative to the Earth-Sun line. And so we are moving from solstice slowly towards equinox.
Wow.
These geostationary satellites, they are fixed over North America. And so they're like this, for example. And so when you have, we'll use solstice as it is kind of right now, which is where we have the northern hemisphere tilted further back, okay? So they're going to be either up here, or when the Earth is on the other side, like North America is on the other side, they're going to be further down here. And then when they do pass through the ecliptic plane of the Earth and the sun, it's going to be at this angle during solstice. It's going to be at a 90-degree angle. And you're not going to have any occlusion of the data by the Earth because it's 90 degrees off. But during equinox, you have the same dynamic, just a little different. So you have GOES up here, and then as a...
So I need an example. I don't even know Yep, there we go. My good old thing. I ain't finna drop it. It's kind of heavy. It's like a shot put. But like how, like this is the United States. Right now it's tilted up. Well, it's, let me get it right. Let me get it right. It is, yeah, tilted up to where you have like Australia and everything down in the southern hemisphere showcasing on this part of it. So from that particular part, it's all hot. It's summertime down here. Up here, it's all wintertime. But even while it's spinning like that, it's going to be at a tilt. So it's like it's like you're in a side eye in the equinox. So it's an interesting, it's like at a 90-degree angle. So we're going to be at a whole different tilt during this time with the blood moon, with the equinox, with an eclipse. Oh my goodness, this is, and this is the new year. And I was born under the worm moon. Each one is a different moon. So you got the snow moon, wolf moon, worm moon. I don't even remember the names of them. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna sit here and guess them. Let me give you the names of the moons. Okay, so January is the wolf moon, February is the snow moon, March is the worm moon, April is the pink moon, May is the flower moon, June is the strawberry moon, July is the buck moon, August is the sturgeon moon. Sturgeon is a fish. Uh, September is the corn moon. That's just October is the hunter's moon. What is that? November is the beaver moon. December is the cold moon. So I don't know why it says it. It's a blue moon and a harvest moon. What is a harvest moon? Harvest moon is really September moon. Yes. So even though it said corn, it's the harvest moon, and the blue moon is just the once in a blue moon that they say. So due to the 29-day lunar cycle exact day. So every time there's like that day in February, that's when that blue moon pops up. So that's when we see that pop up. So I believe last year was a leap year. Wasn't it a leap year? So we saw the blue moon last year. I remember seeing it.
It rotates through like this, it will be right on that ecliptic plane,
Yeah.
on the Earth-Sun line here at noon. And then as it keeps rotating, and now Earth is nighttime for North America, it will be on the ecliptic plane as well at midnight. And now you have the Earth right in front of the satellite temporarily. The Earth is 5.6 Earth radii from the satellite, and so it's not like immediately blocking it, really big and large. It's quite far away, but you will have this temporary moment where the Earth will pass in between the sun and Goas, blocking its ability to measure that X-ray flux and also to actually get an image of the sun itself. And that happens around equinox season because of how the tilt angle is basically, well, the tilt angle doesn't really change that much across like the human time frame that we're talking about here, but it'll move through its orbit, and all of a sudden now you start to get this effect. So we're going to continue having these sort of data dropouts, which are very temporary.
So because of this equinox, we are going to have well, it's already happening now. You got data breaches and hacks and systems falling down, electrical grids that are getting fried right now. Like I said, Chile and Argentina is going through an issue out there. Australia is going through it. I ain't even got to this stuff yet. I'm just in my nerd bag right now. I'm in my blurred bag. I'm a black nerd. So yeah, this is stuff that I used to have to sit here and read and My mama made me read all the encyclopedias when I got in trouble. She made me hold them in the corner, and I'd be holding them. Oh, these are heavy, mama. These are heavy. All right, they heavy. You done? You learned your lesson? Now go read the lesson.
brief with the GOES satellites all the way till about April or so. And it only happens once for each satellite every day. And so while GOES East has its local midnight and the Earth temporarily blocks the GOES satellite from viewing the sun, GOES West will still be in view of the sun. It'll still receive its X-ray flux measurements. And then when that happens for GOES West at its local midnight, GOES East will be further along and it won't be obstructed at all. So that's the dynamic. That's why there's a benefit to having two of these satellites. And I apologize for getting that wrong. We'll continue to see these data dropouts all the way till about the end of April or so. And it's not because of the moon. And if it was because of the moon, we would only see that around the new moon period, maybe like a day or two on each side, which would be right now today, then also on March 29th when we have that partial solar eclipse. But in fact, we're going to
March
continue to see
29th would be a partial eclipse. So March 29th is the partial eclipse.
those sort of data. Nothing to fret when you see these data dropouts. It doesn't mean anything crazy is happening. It just means that the satellite is temporarily being blocked from view of the sun by the Earth itself. And again, shout out to that one commenter of many who got this right and let me know. So thank you to them. As you can see, we have a lot of different energetic factors active at this moment in time. We have the new moon today. We have the great planetary alignment tomorrow involving all 7 of the planets in our solar system. This is not including Pluto. It will also be including the moon, which will move into alignment after today's new moon. We have heightened geomagnetic volatility at this moment in time. We had a G1 storm about 12 hours ago. We just nearly had a G1 storm again right now as I'm filming this. We have these high-speed streams from these coronal holes set to sweep by at any moment. New active regions are rotating in as old ones have left.
See, now I'm glad he just brought that up. Old sunspots have left. They've done their job. Even though our prayers are working, they have not significantly. It was grace and mercy showed upon us. That's why we have to give all praise, because ain't no hurricanes happening in the Compton, ain't no earthquakes happening in Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm looking at these things and looking at how much of a small speck we are in the grand scheme of the whole universe, it is so phenomenal of the times that we're living in right now for these particular events to be spot on targeting regions and areas and lands and people and all of this stuff, how it's doing it. So we cannot give man no credit for any of this. We are studying. Chew the meat, spit out the bones.
The proton radiation storm is coming to a close, and then we're seeing this very bizarre data come out of Tomsk, Russia from the Space Observing System as it relates to Schumann resonances, though again, we are not seeing those changes at any of the other observation stations that are available to the public, so it's very likely some sort of data glitch, but something that brings us all together in many ways. So interesting stuff happening right now. I'm wishing you well. Just a reminder that you can still snag 10% off using the code.
So a lot of these new sunspots are coming into the new equinox. So it's like it's bringing in the new variations. That's what my interpretation is that this new activity coming will be the new variations of what it is going to be. So I'm happy he kind of broke that down right there on that part. Okay, so yeah, just hold on. Let me bring this. So this is what I was talking about with Elon. We'll bring that up. She said 2 or 3 of these satellites re-enter the Earth each day. As much as they're trying to shoot all of this up, wasting money when they could have been doing all that. I'm telling you, this is nothing but a billionaire ego pissing contest right now that's going on right now, that they've been doing all of this stuff, but they don't give a damn about none of y'all. All of these people who sat there and voted for either one of these sides is still part of the same damn bird. That's what I've been trying to get all my brothers and sisters to stop tripping about all of this emotional investment that you're giving into. We've been so invested into the Democratic Party, some in the Republican Party, some in the Green Party, Independent, whatever. Be ye separate, saith the Lord. Stop putting all of this stuff on a pedestal. This is the stuff this is the stuff that has been unrighteous. This is the unclean things. This is the stuff that has been desecrating and destroying our people for the longest. And we have been so oppressively capitulative to our own demise and our own sufferings and our own anguishes to where we're not getting it. Now you got selective memory. Now you got selective judgment. Now you got selective anger. All of this selectivity. Break that cycle. Hit the reset button on all of this, what you thought you freaking knew. Anyways, let's keep it going because there's so much to go. Artificial meteor shower. Get a rocket landing right over there. They have nothing to say about it. They have no accountability. That's what they have to say about this. They saying that, hey, you deal with it. We don't give a damn about how you feel. You're gonna deal with this. And that's what people are saying now. Like your credit card bills are up. You got your house is in foreclosure, but you're worried about a damn pop rocket going into the stratosphere. Aluminum oxide. So an average satellite has an approximate shelf life of 5 years. Your refrigerator has more shelf life than that. So the fact that you have these things going up on a consistent basis, spending millions and billions of dollars of sending something up there that is not even going to be able to actually retroactively sustain itself up there because it is getting hit by all of these massive corona ejections and it's knocking out their circuit boards, frying them. So you got a big hunk of metal that's coming and veering down and smacking down into the earth, shards, shredding villages, and people, oh, we're just gonna keep it under wraps. No. One 120 satellites have fell from space in January in 2025. 120. That's 12. That's 12. Total satellites launched 8,000. 8,000 satellites have been launched just this year. Satellites launched in 2025, 376. Satellites without launched 12,000. So there's yeah. He's- Whew. He is trying to do the work. He is doing it. So let's go to this one. So a lightning strike destroys a home in metro Atlanta. Priests, missionaries during Sunday storm. A house in Woodsong Trail in Cumming is home to 12 legionaries of Christ priests and RC Mission Corps missionaries. Oh, hold on. Wow. 9 priests and 3 missionaries. I'm not making this up. It burnt it all the way down. Yeah, they need a they need a roof fund. They need a building fund. They need the building fund. Anyways, whew, boy, 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 the amount of stuff that's going on. So it's fires everywhere, y'all. We're gonna keep it going. We got a whole bunch to get to. Hold on, let me make sure. Wow, hottest, it's the hottest hottest month in India since 1901. 30, 38 degrees Celsius. It will remain above normal for the next 3 months. Whew, you talk about getting cooked. Mm, that La Nina, little bit humid, warmest January, local temperatures for this why. Whew, it's about to get really bad. So this is Cyclone Alfred bring heavy rain, strong winds, and high waves to Australia. Cyclone, yep. They canceled flights, early rain. Yeah, hit all of Eastern. Schools closed, public transportation halted, residents struggle to find sandbags. It'll be the first to hit since 1974. And it's interesting because all of these cyclones were 4 million people and have faced major flood risk. And all the cyclones were sitting on all sides of it, just waiting to attack when they need to. Wind gusts reach 130 kph, kilometers per hour. I don't know how much that is. 20,000 homes flooded, 660 schools, 280 closed. Yeah, that's bad. Not even enough sandbags. Supermarkets stripped of essentials, public streets almost deserted. Hospitals limited to emergency surgeries. So if you really got something going wrong or something bad, you can't even get no help. 4,500 homes lost power. 4 plus 5 is 9. Can't make this up. I'm telling you, these numbers is popping up. Emergency teams prepare to evacuate low-lying areas. Wow. Wow. And they own a beach and everything. Record 12.3 meter wave hits Gold Coast. Expect judgments. There's nothing that they can do. It's about to make landfall Saturday morning. Hmm. They just hmm, wow. So it's jacking it up and ain't even got to landfall yet. 4 million people in the past. Woo. Wow. Wow. The amount of insects and pestilence popping up will be bad. Hay fever, measles. Yeah. All he worried about is alcohol, y'all. That's all he said he was worried about is alcohol. He just want his alcohol. wine and spirits, and it's gonna make people do crazy things when you're under the influence. So these folks, yeah, they just little sandbags. They have nowhere to go. Completely stuck. Where you gonna go to? You go to Philippines, you go to New Zealand, and they all on the beach just watching all the waves come in and wipe them off. Makes landfall Saturday morning. So right now, so yeah, let's go ahead and keep it going because that, whew, finding out that's in Australia. And then what? Drake just canceled his tour out there because I guess he saw foresaw this coming. Ice Cube, he's stuck in a hotel out there right now. It's a lot going down. This is a Brazil suffers monster sinkholes engulfing entire town overnight during the night. Look at that! Wow, wow, y'all! Wow, 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 wow. Mm, mm, mm. Wow. You ain't even waking up. Your whole backyard is turned into a massive crater. You just wake up and everything that you thought knew was gone. Look at Palisade into thin air. There's no pipe. All the piping is messed up. Everything that's under that's that's over 100 feet. Wow. It's literally carving itself destroyed. They have nothing. Daily life is done for. Eat every bit. Wow. People have businesses no more. Yeah. Economies across the whole world are taking hits. That's just falling off. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my great glory. It is it looked like a finger is scraping into it though. The road in comparison to the oh my goodness. The road in comparison to what's under it, it looks like a M&M cover in it. That's how thin it's thin. It's only like 6 feet, 6 inches. The whole bridge gone. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. This is judgment. This is judgment. This is judgment. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's judgment. That is judgment. these humongous rocks just ripping everything. It's taking out everything in its path, hitting big old trees. I'm talking about humongous trees. Wow. Taking down everything. All of their crop. Wow. Those are humongous rocks. Qatar, Depression, Egypt, Berzinki, Sinko, and Russia. Those are some of the largest ones. Oh my goodness. The rapid expansion, it literally is. Like it's dropping everything. Oh, mm, mm, mm. This is really real, y'all. It's just slicing. And it's not just a little. Wow. It's interrupting the roads, pulling down every single. The roads is thin. They only like barely a baby coating over the road, over the dirt. Oh, that mudslide is, yeah. Wow. Genesis 15:13. Know of a sure that you are being removed from a land that does not belong to you. It's the power of God in your face. Y'all want to keep playing with the Most High? Yeah. That is at least 200, 300, 400 feet deep of a crater. Like nothing is left. Wow. It's surrounding one whole little community, and it's like cutting all the way around it, and it's like trapping them. It's like they're gonna be on the island sitting right there. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. That is deep, y'all. There's no getting out of that. There's no help coming to get anybody who's falling down into that. No, yeah, this is trauma. Look at that. That looks like a whole claw just clawing. We dealt with it. We picked ourselves up out of bootstraps and we kept on having to do it. That's what we did. That's what we did. That's mm, that is something else. So give me a moment, beloveds. I'm about to go. I got to take a quick break. I'm gonna shut off, but I'm gonna come back on. So give me a couple minutes, and I'm gonna be right back with you guys. So I'm gonna end the live now, but within the next less than 30 minutes, I'll be right back. So, but we're gonna continue with all of this news that we have right now to keep you guys updated on what's going on around the whole world. We already gave you 2 hours. Boop. We gave you 2 hours. We're gonna give you some more.